Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talk About It Tuesday. We're here to talk. You didn't even look and see what the calendar date was today. I'm
Just
shocked.
keep going. I'm going to look it up.
Okay, we're here to talk about what could be an uncomfortable topic for many, many people. Money. But I feel like the more time that we spend talking about this and learning what God has to say about money, the less uncomfortable it will be.
Yes.
Watch today be something like Save All Your Money Day.
National Ohio Day.
Oh, jeez.
So call your relatives in Ohio if you have any. National Delivered Egg Day.
Delivered egg? Deviled egg, dude.
I did not read that. Why?
Okay.
And
hey, I can make
National
deviled eggs.
Broadcast Traffic Professionals Day.
Okay.
They are needed servants.
Thank
Make
you
sure
to
you
your air traffic
deviled eggs.
controllers. I'll make them later. All right, well, we're here to talk about week 8 of Rooted, which is what does God think about money? Or no, I'm sorry, how does God view money? And I think, if like, if you hear people say, don't talk about politics and religion, I think some people might add money to that list, right? Because it's just not, I don't know, it seems maybe like rude to ask people about their finances, but we're going to get a little uncomfortable here today because we want to deal with our finances the same way that we deal with other things in our lives, and that is in a way that honors God. So we kind of had a little conversation before we got on about why do you think the world's view of money is so toxic?
Ultimately, I think it just comes back to, like Josh talked about scarcity, but a lot of it's just like the individualism of like self-preservance, that it's my money, I earned it.
Yeah, pride.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely relate to that because for a long time, definitely before I started following Jesus, but even still early into my walk, I, was guilty of calling myself like a self-made woman. I had a difficult childhood. I grew up in the projects and on welfare. And so, like, once I had an education and a career, I thought, like, I did this.
Yeah.
And I did good for myself. But that's not true.
Yeah.
And so, Josh pointed out, when we start to change our view of finances and see God as the ultimate provider of everything and that everything belongs to him and he has just entrusted us with it, then it becomes easier to let go of some of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, when you say yes to Jesus, like, God is the infinite spring of all generosity. Like, all that you have flows from his grace and mercy. So who are we not to give back the first portion of what he's given to us back to him?
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think if you have had any kind of conversation with anybody who, lives a life of radical generosity, they probably have some crazy story of like how they gave something away and then it came right back. Mm-hmm. And not that like that's the expectation. We don't give expecting to receive something in return. But the point is that God is not going to leave us with needs unmet. And I think the key to understanding that is that what God knows that we need often looks different than what we think we need, right? Yeah, so we had some steps that Josh gave us, and you can go back and watch all of it. There were a bunch of points that he gave, but the one specific thing that I wanted to call attention to was just the action step of decide what you're going to give, ask God to give you the courage to give it, and then stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like how Josh gave all the different steps of the journey of learning to be generous. Because to some people, I've had discussions with people that new to Christianity, make pretty good money, and they're like, you think I'm supposed to give 10%? And it's like, well, And it's like, what the heck? Yeah. So like, there's different journeys, and some people have been stuck on just like auto animation, like auto give 10% every week, don't even think about it, and have never thought about it in years. Like, what is the next step for you to live a more generous life?
Yeah, and we obviously don't want to get like into a place of legalism, but like that really should be the minimum, right?
Yeah.
And so like, and then what can you do beyond that? But the point is that we're all on a journey and we're all in different places, and we need to just take moves on the journey, right?
Yeah. What's it look for you? What does it look like to be the woman with her 2 coins at the temple?
Man, that story is, I mean, if you could picture that, and you can picture that in today's society of like, I don't know, I'm not going to name names of billionaires, the richest people on earth, taking all of this money, and then you have a person who has literally 50 cents to their name, and they give it in belief that God will provide whatever they need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like, for the rich person to give millions looks great, but ultimately
it's not
the
a
person
sacrifice.
with nothing still giving, not knowing where their needs will be met in their heart, is living the most Christ-like, just outward giving, outward focus, outward generous life of surrender.
Yes, and the memory verse for this week is, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. That was like one of the first verses that I memorized because I took my kids to VBS like literally a week after making a decision to follow Jesus, and that was like the Bible verse. Yeah. And so, but again, thinking about that in practical terms, where is the focus? So if the focus is on the 401k, what happens when that thing crumbles? Mm-hmm. And, do you have the solid foundation of faith in Jesus if what your focus is on, your money or what you're gathering up or cars or houses or whatever, however it looks, for you.
Or just living out of the excess of your means, like living like your like budget is 100% of what you make. You're always living paycheck to paycheck, whether you're lower middle class or upper class, which is the common theme for almost everybody.
Well, you just mentioned the budget. Like, generosity should be like a line item in your budget, right? I mean, who knows, where God's going to lead your heart to give, but then it's there, and you don't have to think because you've already allocated the money to say, I'm going to give this away to like whatever need I see, Which
goes back to just intentionality of like, I know how much I make. Like, I'm going to be intentional with it so that I'm not just spending all of it paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, shameless plug for Financial Peace University.
Yes, whenever that comes back around.
Yes, hopefully soon. So, okay, well, there is, as usual, a lot to unpack there, and we could probably talk about this for a long time. But you can hear the full message on YouTube or on Facebook, and if you have questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and put them here in the comments. We'd love to talk with you more about what a journey of generosity might look like for you and your family. And yeah, we'll see you next week. I'm going to go make some deviled eggs. Maybe I'll bring deviled eggs to my neighbor.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you next week, Tuesday at 8 o'clock, and then Sunday here on Facebook and YouTube.
Have a good week.
Take care.